And it says, always read and play between the lines. Your true nature is reflected in silence. Music is the infinite space between two souls. And music has been coming up over and over again. And I know that, half of these cards are music cards, but they don't always use the term music. This is the most spiritual of all the cards. And it is about connection, the infinite space between two souls. Sorry, guys. Like I said, new phone, new problems. But we do have Jean-Michel Basquiat at the bottom of the deck. He's one of my favorites. He is beautiful with Buckminster Fuller. That's why they wanted me to cut the deck. But he's a manifester, right? He's my manifester. And adaptability. But Buckminster Fuller, once again, great heights are best seen from your lowest point, and that interconnectedness of everything. Henri Matisse, he's been showing up too. And, I get this Sagittarian energy from him as well. So that's interesting. All right, so I do see, it's funny that we have this path here. Interesting. Just this Two of Trees. I always, we see these, and I was just getting ready in these two hearts, and I'm really getting like this soulmate energy. Once again, it's there. Absolutely. This 4 stars. This is what, and right through here, and it might be that they're still in a relationship with somebody. That's just for some. Others, it really is just this soul family. Right, we have cosmic ancestor, star ancestors, and it's like, this is like lost wisdoms, hidden secrets coming down and being downloaded into your head. And then this, look. This is that portal. This is the path, right? We're moving through this time, and it's like you're really, this is, it see the light by staying grounded. And then we have this 3 of Hearts here, which happens to be a tree, right? It's like you're getting these downloads, and you're just being really flexible. I can't help but feel like you are getting some, and that's part of this, this energy right here is that collective energy, right? And, this is like a body, I think. At any rate, we've got these similar colors right here even. But this staying grounded is going to be crucial during this point in time. And you are grounded here in the earth element. So it's perfect. Right? And, it's like you've got this protective shield too, right? The ancestors are helping protect you. Of course, do what you need to do, right? As far as exercise, meditation, etc., to build up your aura, because I do feel like if you're empathic at all, it's going to be difficult. But, you know, we've got this divine wisdom here, the high priestess in the past. And this is that connection with spirit, you know. And then we have visionary here, queen of angels, the hidden secrets, lost wisdom. This is totally, you know, you've created this, you know, portal within yourself. You've been communing with spirit, and it's really showing up here, right? You have access to this divine wisdom. And that's what you're consciously doing here, is going into these other realms, you know, and this visionary, the Queen of Angels, you know, this is Queen of Swords in a traditional deck. And this is that balance between heart and mind. But she also has her defenses too. You know, and I do feel with this page of angels here as well, which once again, we see this, you know, protection. Both of them have wings here. But I also, you know, with the, with this divine order here, which is air as well, there's a lot of air here for you guys. And I do feel like you might be getting triggered to a certain extent, right? But you've got your defenses up. But there is, you know, it's bringing stuff up for healing. But I don't, you know, it's not like I feel it strongly. I don't think that this is a real problem for you guys, right? This is just kind of the energy of the times. And we do have Mercury moving forward. So there just might be more communication as well. You know, and this really goes quite well with this, you know, what's this above, right? This is the what's below the subconscious. And we have big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Visionary, you know. And then we have the divine order, equilibrium. And we see her holding the world here. And, you know, once again, like this, whatever this energy is across the face, we see it here as well. And it could even be like constellations here. But there, you know, this angel holding the earth, you know, everything is happening in divine order, right? And this is this big picture thinking, being able to see things from a wider perspective. Because, like I said, the energy is going to be heavy. This is not an easy time. But everything is, you know, this is bringing things back into equilibrium. Justice is being, you know, created or brought about, however you want to say it. But once again, you're really tapping in to the universe. You are quite balanced here, right? We have all four elements showing up here. These across from each other, these across from each other, right? Fire to air, water to earth. These are showing, you know, it's like there's this little shift that's happening. This one's showing up actually in its, and the grounding is probably the most important thing, you know, that this is showing up in the earth element. But yeah, I think, you know, it's balance within you, just this knowledge that all is well, all is working as it should be, that you're protected, and ideas are sparking, you know, these downloads happening, and you're like really grounding them. So, yeah, always read and play between the lines. And I think this is happening just completely organically, right? You're not even having to try. You're just picking it up. But so, you're just kind of plodding forward, right? Grounding everything. Once again, we see this energy coming into his head, and your true nature is reflected in silence. I see a lot of quietness and, going within here. And then we have the Four of Stars, which would be the Four of Wands, of course, in your air element. And, I'm seeing, especially these two together, this ability to really be present, to stay present. I feel like you're really trying to lift the energy of those around you. And I feel like there might be some psychic communication if it's not like direct communication with a divine counterpart, all right? Twin flame. This is the 1111 portal at the beginning of this first week. Which in itself could bring up some triggers, right? But there's, I hear that song, there be stars in their eyes. There's stars in your eyes. There's this twinkle. I feel like there's something bigger, that's going on here that I'm just not picking up even. So then we have, and this is why, I see healing here, because, we have this Three of Hearts right here in the midst of all this air energy, and air followed by hearts, and because this gets topped by this, and it does say sorrow, but like I said, like all of this, here lately I've really been, it's been showing up for you all. This is Mars in Scorpio, and Mars has turned direct. It loves your sign. So I don't know why this has been, seen as, and of course it does sometimes mean sadness and disappointment and all those things. But, I'm just drawn to all the color, like I said, that primordial soup, because I see this card as a manifestation card as well. Real joy. And, I see these four hearts here. And then this one, it's like spirit. It's like there's this stability, right? And then spirit coming in to kind of like just inject it. Right? It's like inject it with something a little more oomph to get it out of that kind of stagnancy, right? Because a cesspool becomes stagnant, and it needs something to come in and like create some new life. Because this guy looks kind of dead, and it's the fact that it's Scorpio, right? There's rebirth. We see this transformation here with this butterfly. It says mysticism below this page of angels, which makes me feel like, there's this kind of miracle that's coming in to reinvigorate your love life. This looks a little like a pool with all these little organisms floating around in it. Yeah, this is ripe. Absolute. And maybe it does take, a little bit of shadow work. I mean, it is about shadow work. Your time of year. But ultimately, it leads to, ecstasy. And I do kind of see like a musical note forming here. And then the future. I mean, all these hearts, refinement, 9 of trees, 9 of pentacles. This is abundance, free thinking, and it's like, it's really, this tree has a little bit more roots and stability than it did here, right? And it's like it's sending out all this love, and it's like spreading. I feel like it's, you're spreading this visionary energy, and it's creating abundance for you. Let's get a piece of art. Then we'll get closing guidance. And then we'll take a quick look at the underlying energies. All right. For Scorpio, please. And I'm drawn to the back here. Portrait of Somerset Maugham. I guess, Maugham. So he's an English novelist and playwright. I feel like who it is important. I'm also drawn to all the, because we didn't get a whole lot of, fire energy. We do have the big picture thinking, which is kind of Sagittarian. We have this 4 of stars here. Venus in Aries. But I feel like, there's this compassion, groundedness, and that fire that gosh, the words are really escaping me right now. Self-confidence and willpower and such. Yeah, sits against a vibrant yellow wall. He was one of the leading British artists of the 20th century. He painted many landscapes and religious paintings. Caricature-like. Amorphous forms. He always followed the laws of realism. But use of amorphous-like forms and agonized imagery, which had strong influence on the young, blah, 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 created much controversy. I get, yeah. I'm getting kind of the, stuff that's going on, right? The controversy, the kind of feeling, it's like, as I said that, I kind of felt like sick in my stomach. Because this yellow does kind of gives me that more cowardice-like quality to it, and the way he's sitting. I feel like this is more the energy that's kind of surrounding you. And I feel like it's like it says mares and foals on in a landscape, and I saw Mars at first. I feel like this energy is kind of like, it does get to you to a certain extent, right? It's kind of hard to stay in this. Yeah, this is why this is the center, that staying grounded and staying present to keep that, and we do want to stay joyful. It's not always helpful. This, breathing exercises will be quite helpful. Maybe that's why it's surrounding that. And getting out in nature, right? Being with animals, horses, I mean, they're loyal, they're free, right? I always get freedom more than anything with a horse. Intelligence, right? All of those things. But, I mean, look at the openness here. If you can get outside, and we see the trees here, and just keeping that free thinking, right? Because, that realism stands out to me that, I don't know, it's like things aren't as they seem right now. And and everybody's kind of in this weird space. And I feel like you're picking up a lot of this energy. So make sure you're doing whatever you can to build up that aura, right? And stay grounded. I feel like this was a warning that I didn't send through well enough. Stay grounded. Because I know the last 2 days, I've been feeling it. And I feel like it's, I don't know if it's going to let up. It seems to be worse. And I've seen it over and over again in this second week than in this week.